Hello, here we are, day 6. So exciting, amazing. Hopefully you've been able to check out some of the trainings, the content, the amazing, incredible information that I've been sharing over the last 6 days. And if not, go and check it out and stay here tonight. I'm super excited to be diving into such a powerful conversation around values. Values ultimately are what are important to us and why we do what we do or why we don't do what we say we want to do. So I'm just going to ask you to drop in the comments where you're jumping on from tonight. And if you have been watching over the last 6 days, what's been your biggest takeaway? What has been your biggest takeaway? I'm very curious to hear. Exciting. So, hey Mish, yay, you made it. Hey Donna. Hello Jade. All right, so what's your biggest takeaway over the last 5 days before we dive into number 6? I've got a little dancer. What have you made there, Bee?
I'm playing Lego with my daddy.
Awesome. Do you want to come and show us? Lego! All right, baby. Love you. Have fun. So, where are you jumping on from tonight? Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here. As I said, we're about to dive into values. Values are so important. They're one of the filters that when we take in all this information that's happening at us every single second, from moment to moment to moment, every single day, values is one of the things, one of the filters that we're determining whether something is good or bad or right or wrong or in alignment with us or not. And so many of us are actually living out of alignment with the things that we truly want. So exciting. So values, how would you like to understand yourself better so that you can understand what motivates you, what drives you, and also what could be in the way of you feeling really motivated in a specific area in your life? Would that be helpful? And then if you've ever been in a relationship, which I'm sure many of you have, where you've just had differences and you haven't necessarily seen things the same way, or things have, we've handled things differently, would it be useful to be able to understand your partner or in any kind of relationship to understand them from a different perspective? Would that be helpful? Give me a hell yeah. Hey Jane, good to see you here, babe. And so I guess within that, understanding where those differences come from so that you can actually be more aligned in yourself and also with others. Awesome, right? You know, this is fantastic in relationships. This is fantastic in your health, in all of the areas of life, in your spirituality, in your personal development and growth, in your business. There's certain values that have to be present as a business person, as an entrepreneur. If those things are not high enough in the values, in the priority within your values, then something's going to be missing in terms of what drives you. For an example, if you are an entrepreneur or a business person, business owner, and of some sort, and that requires sales, right? So if sales is not a high enough value for you, then it won't be important. You probably want to save the planet, but you won't actually make any money in doing so because you just want to give away everything. So sales has to be something that's really high in the values of someone who is in business in order to be profitable and actually continue to operate a business. Hey, as you're jumping on, hello. So, and some of you might be able to relate to maybe if you've worked with someone or for someone, or you have a friend who's like really certain in themselves, really grounded and really know what matters to them, and they're really assertive and they're really, just in their power within the things, within what they stand for and with what is important to them. And so this is because this person is most likely has a very deep understanding of what matters to them, what drives them, and has good boundaries in place when it comes to that as well. Hello, beautiful girls. Good to see you all in here. Hey, Katie. Whoop, whoop. Yay. So many more of you on because it's 8 o'clock. Better time, maybe. So as you're jumping on, just share where you're jumping on from. We're diving into values, and I'm just kind of setting things up in terms of, why it's important. Also, if you have people in your team, if you have a team of people, or you're a manager, or you're a business owner, and you have people that you want to motivate, or maybe your children that you want to motivate, or your partner, it helps to understand what their values are, because that's what motivates them. So if you're speaking in language that is within what motivates them, then they're going to be motivated to do the thing. Some people are motivated by money, some people are not. Some people are motivated by praise and acknowledgement. So if you understand that, then you can use a language that supports someone and communicates in what's important to them. And so that's really, really powerful. Coming back to language again, the middle name of NLP is linguistics. So language always comes into all of these pieces that I'm speaking on. Communication is such a big piece in our lives, right? In relationships, all relationships, with kids, with partners, with family, with business partners, with whatever, any kind of situation. And so the thing is that many of you don't even know what your values are. And this is a human thing. Don't take offense to this. Don't make yourself wrong because of it. But you may know some things, some certain things that are surface level that are important to you. However, those things are not always the most important. The reason being is because if you remember back from, I think it was day 2, I was talking about the NLP model of communication. All the information comes in, 11 million bits of information per second, and we take in about 136 per second. And as we're taking that information in through all of our senses, our visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory, and our internal dialogue, as that's going in, we're filtering the information. We delete, distort, and we generalize the information based on our filters, which is, one of them is our values. Now, values are our most unconscious filters. So they're outside of your consciousness. They're outside of your awareness, the majority of them. Interesting, hey? So let's say, for an example, in a relationship, what's important to you? And you might be able to rattle off a few things. What is important to you in the context of a relationship? What is important to you in relationships? Just give me a couple of things. Let's fire off a couple of things. Just gonna get my water. What do we got? And do this process, like, just answer the questions like whatever comes to you. Because we're working actually with the unconscious mind right now. You'll probably know the things that are consciously in your conscious awareness, but if you let yourself connect into your intuition, into the internal knowing of what's under that conscious awareness, other words might come through. Good. Communication. Awesome. Love it. So let's say it's communication, let's say it's honesty, let's say it's intimacy, whatever, right? So you've got all of these words that may be important to you in a relationship. Connection. Yes. Awesome. And so these words that you're giving me right now, Donna, are values, but they're also very abstract words, meaning that they're highly contextualized. There's lots of information, there's lots of content within that one word, right? So let's say connection, there's other content, there's other meaning that connection means to you. And so and I've done this exercise with you before. I said to you all, you might have been on here for this, tell me what love means to you. And so as we rattled off the meaning of love, all of us had different responses. So I said, give me 5 things. And all of us had different responses, right? And so even if we had the same values, the meaning that each individual person gives to that value, like say connection, I could have 5 different things to Donna of what connection actually means. And so when we can understand each other from this perspective, we can actually have a new point of view, a new perspective in the way that we see and communicate and understand and comprehend each other. So we can create deeper, more meaningful relationships when we have this understanding. Not only is it great to understand yourself and what values are really important to you, because it's so powerful to understand yourself. And you know what would be really good? And we do this in my master practitioner trainings in NLP, is we identify all of the values in every single area of life, and then we rank them from 1 to whatever many you've got there. You could have 5, you could have 10, you could have 20, depending on how you kind of organize things in your mind. And so we rank them, let's say you had 20, we rank them from number 1 importance all the way down to 20. And we do that at the unconscious level. It's not a conscious thing. So you don't know what the ranking actually is consciously, meaning you don't know which of those values, like Donna has given me communication and connection and trust, using Donna as the example, and truth, right? Donna would not know which one of those is the most important. And those ones that she's given me are the ones that are in her consciousness. And there are many others that are there at the unconscious level. And more times than not, nearly 99% of the time, the ones that are outside of our consciousness are actually the ones that are higher ranking. So cool. And so what happens is we look at them, and then we look at the top 5 are the most important. The top 5 are the ones that determine what we do and what we don't do, because they're the motivators. Values are what is important to us, what drives us, what motivates us, what gets us to do what we do. So I'll go into that a little bit more. But if the top 5 are not supporting the goals that you have, then we can change them. And when we release the emotions from the past, that changes them also. When we change our situation in life, our values change. When we move countries, our values change. When we have a baby, our values change. When we have another baby, our values change again. When we start a new job, our values change. When we start a business, our values change. So our values are constantly changing depending on us and where we are and what's happening in our life. And so the good thing is you're not stuck with the same kind of values. And so what's really cool to understand with values here is, hello gorgeous girls, is if you picture a tree. Hey Nissa, hey Maribel. So if you picture a tree whereby the roots of the tree are what keeps the tree grounded, right? It's really, really important to the tree to have those roots grounded into the ground, into the earth. Why is it important? Because it helps with stability. It helps with actually being alive. It helps with growth. It helps with all of the things, right? To actually exist. And so the strength of the values is really determined by the trunk. It's determined by the branches. It's determined by the leaves. It's determined by the fruit that grows on the trees from year to year. Yeah, and a strong tree supports a flourishing ecosystem, right? The ecosystem can flourish around it when the roots, right? The roots of the tree are solid and strong and go deep. And so this is values for us. So quite simply, what are values? They're what's important to us. And so they determine how we decide whether our actions are good, our actions are bad, our actions are right or wrong, or how we feel about our actions. And so they're important to us because they are to do with our motivation. They're to do with our behavior, of the actions that we're taking in our life. So for an example, if freedom is important to you, if that's a high value, then it is probably going to impact the things that you choose in your life, the way that you live, the kind of career that you're in. Maybe you want to become an entrepreneur because freedom is so important to you. So can you see how the values will determine the choices that we make and the behaviors that we make in different areas of our life? I mean, think of the context of health and well-being, right? Why is it that some people are really driven and they go to the gym every single day, or they get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and work out in the dark or whatever they do? What is it that makes that really important to Curtis versus John down the street, right? So, hey Dave, it comes back to values. It comes back to what's important. So if we look at all of the areas of life, health must be high in his values. If health wasn't high in his values compared to other contexts, other areas of life, then, and if let's say we've got 5 main areas of life or 6 main areas of life. I use 5 in my coaching, but I use 6 in NLP. So we also have a ranking of, business or career, health and fitness, family, relationships, personal development and growth, spirituality, right? And so we rank the importance of each of those values within themselves as well. So for someone who gets up at 4 o'clock every morning and does their exercise, then health has to be high importance, because he's motivated to get up and do something every single day. Yay, Sammy. Whoop, whoop. Is this making sense? And so now there's 2 things in terms of motivation. We can either be motivated towards something, or we can be motivated away from something. And so if we're actually moving towards something, we're moving towards something that is what we want. I'll use money as an example because it's just a really easy one. And so all of us can relate to money, right? I'll use a health one as well because that's something most of us can relate to as well. I'll give you 2 examples. But we're either motivated towards what we want, we're looking at what we want, let's say money as the example. So I'm here and I'm turned and I'm looking towards money because I want freedom, I want independence, I want to travel, I want luxury, I want fun and play and hang out with friends. So all of those things is towards what I want because it's the things that I will enjoy. They're the empowering things. And so that is a value that is towards what we want. Now we also have values that is away from what we don't want. So we classify that as away from. So if we're turned and we're looked towards what we don't want, but we're moving in this direction, we want to move towards what we actually want, but we're actually focused on what we don't want. So let's say with money, I'm focused on not wanting to live on the streets, not to be in poverty. I don't want to be stressed about having to pay my bills. I don't want to be arguing with my partner around money every single week or every other week when we have to pay our bills, right? So those are the things that we move away from, depending on the person, could be a move away from. Now, moving away from can be really good for motivation initially because it creates enough pain. We're either motivated by pain or pleasure. Pain is away from, pleasure is towards, okay? Now, if you are motivated by moving away from, a lot of people in business are, when the pressure is on, when they have to pay, let's say they're paying wages and they have to pay wages, then there's a lot of pressure, and the not wanting to not be able to pay the wages will be enough motivation to get them to really take action and create results. So that could be a really big driver and really big motivator until they start making more than enough money. And so what happens is, if the motivation is away from, then now making enough money, making good money from month to month, week to week. Now we don't have to stress about paying the wages. We know we've got the money there. And so the motivation drops because they're actually focused on what they're moving away from, and that's no longer there. So the motivation can go. So what helps to keep the motivation, longevity and long lasting, is by moving towards what we want. Now, sometimes you can have a value. Let's say, for an example, let me give the other example. I'll come back to that. The other example is with health, right? So let me go back to money. With money, what happens is, Donald Trump was really good at this. So before he was president, would make lots of money, lose it, make lots of money, lose it, make lots of money, lose it. Something that his wife had said, a statement that she'd said on one of the interviews was, Donald and I always are grateful for what we have because we know we could always lose it. And so that statement is an indication of moving away from, knowing that we could always lose it. So how do you get more motivation if you make lots of money? Is to lose it, to go bankrupt, or to lose it all, and then you get to make it again. So that yo-yo thing that goes on is because the motivation is a pain motivation. It's a moving away from motivation. So in health, it's the same thing. Let's say we're health, moving towards what we want, moving towards longevity, moving towards energy, vitality, anti-aging, like living a long time, mobility, just being able to play with my children and be able to chase after them, those kinds of things, right? So that could be an example of moving towards for health and fitness. Moving away from would be, I don't want to feel shit in my clothes and not be able to fit my clothes. Don't want to feel the shame, the embarrassment of holding on to this much body weight. I don't want to, right? So it's all the not want is the away from. And sometimes that is required to make someone move. So it's a good amount of pain, a good amount of moving away from motivation inside of values is handy. It just isn't sustainable. So what we do when we release emotions from the past, and I've mentioned this over the last couple of days, the process that I do within my trainings and with my one-on-one clients is we release all of the emotions. When we release the emotions from the past and clean up the beliefs and get you really aligned, because there's lots of parts within us as well that are in conflict, and we get all of those parts actually integrated within your nervous system, in the neurology of your body. And when that happens, powerful. And then you can actually, or it happens automatically, is that then it's so much easier for you to be focused on and moving towards what it is that you want. So, making sense? So same thing, people that, lose weight, then they find it again. They're motivated by the pain. They may achieve the ideal weight that they were striving for, but now they don't continue it because they didn't have any towards motivation. So they had nothing to continue working towards. So they have to gain the weight in order to gain more motivation again. And so this yo-yo effect goes on. Cool, awesome. So, great. So I was going to speak about something and then I changed it, and I'll see if that comes back to me. So this is so important when it comes to motivation as well, is to understand, okay, I've got it back, is to understand that within our values, as I said, they're very abstract. They're filled with lots of content. The content being, is there something that moves me forward towards what I want, or is it something that's moving me away from what I don't want? So a lot of times when my clients say to me, one of the things that I do is I get them to identify their core values. So we also have core values. And quite often within that, someone will say truth or honesty or something like that. And then that was something that was mentioned as well before. It happens a lot in relationships too. And when I ask, why is that important to you? They will say something like, because I don't want to be lied to, or I don't want, something around the not wanting. And what does that sound like? It sounds like a really cool word, right? Honesty, truthful, truth. It looks really nice and sounds really good. However, it can actually be what's driving it, what's driving the needing truth, needing honesty, can be away from. Because we perhaps in the past, all the stuff from the past, have been lied to, we've been cheated on, we've, just not being told the truth to, or we're not living the truth ourselves. And so we're still holding on to that pain and those emotions, because within values, we also have beliefs that are attached to them. You know, those old school, I used to go to my nana's place and she had those, she'd always make us tea and scones and stuff, you know, as nanas do. And they had those little hooks that hang with all of the teacups hanging around. They're like 6 or so little hooks that hang, and they all hang around. That's what happens. You have a value and you have all of these beliefs that are hooked onto the value as well. So, yeah, it's just a really good thing to understand. And the reason why releasing, getting rid of, clearing, you know, all the stuff from your past, not that you get rid of it, but you release it and it's now no longer has you. It now no longer has you. You actually get back your power by releasing all of that stuff from the past, so that you can also not be focused on what you don't want and just continuing to be motivated by that, that you can actually be motivated by that a little bit, but then you turn and you're moving towards what you want. In network marketing, it happens a lot because we're motivated by getting to a certain level perhaps, and then we're like, I don't wanna, you know, and I don't wanna work for someone else. I don't wanna stress about paying my bills. I don't wanna, you know, not be able to do the things that I want to do. And we strive towards getting to a certain level, get to the level, and then there's no more motivation because we feel like, oh, I got to the thing, but it was never about just that level. If you have a vision that is beyond any kind of level or any ranking or anything at all, the vision is something beyond all of that, then that's sustainable. That is powerful and so sustainable, because you're going to continue going anyway, because it's part of the vision, it's part of the mission, the purpose, all that stuff. Pretty cool, hey? And so this is where values is really important and ties into purpose as well, because what's important to us will determine how we live and the actions that we take or we don't take. Hey, Gav. Awesome. So, as I mentioned that we have these filters, right? We have like meta programs have no content at all. They're just like completely unconscious filters, and they're content free. So they're things that we do, part of our personality, part of the way we think, of how we think, that are also completely outside of your conscious awareness. It's really cool to understand that about yourself and in relationships as well. And, you know, we do this in part of my NLP practitioner training, but the values are also really unconscious, as I mentioned already. So just to reinforce, our values are, especially our highest, most important values, are unconscious, and all of the content that we have wrapped around them in terms of the beliefs that are wrapped around them, and if it's towards and away from, what's driving that value is also really unconscious. And so all of our motivation is derived from our values. Okay, you will not be motivated if it's not within your values, which is why when I work with my clients in business and sales is not in the top values, and they're not making sales, then that's really clear of why they're not making sales, right? So the other thing is within values is you can't motivate somebody else within your own values. It doesn't work. That's what we try to do. We do it with our kids, and we do it with our partners. So you have to motivate them within their own values, what's important to them. Not what's important to you, what's important to them. Which a lot of parents do it the back ass way round. We want our kids to do what's important to us. We were never successful and we want our kids to be that to be successful. Or we were a doctor and we want our kids to be that. Not that that's as common these days, but maybe still. I don't know. I live in a different reality. So, but yeah. So all of our motivation is derived from these values. And if you're totally congruent, if you're totally in alignment with your values, like this is one thing that I teach that I'm like so anal about, is about getting aligned and congruent with your values, walking the talk, knowing what your values are, knowing what your core values are, knowing what your values are for all of the areas of life, releasing the stuff from the past, like being willing to do the work, to let it go, to release, to accept, to have compassion, to forgive, all of those things, and to no longer hold on to all of those emotions like anger and sadness and fear and hurt and guilt and shame and disappointment and frustration, pissed offness, whatever you want to label it as. And to like truly get aligned with our values and take actions, make decisions based on those values. It is an absolute game changer when you can do this. And so how do you work out your values? Well, it's really simple. It's not always as simple to do it on your own. It's easier to do it with a coach. But I'll give you the formula. You just got to make sure that you do it without trying to think about it, which we can get in our own way when we're doing it for ourselves. But let's choose a specific context of life. Someone throw a specific context out that you'd like us to elicit the values on, and we'll do it together. Make sure you've got a piece of paper and pen. You can write them down as we go. So whoever puts the first context of life, could be relationships, could be health and fitness, could be career, business, money, whatever you want to do. Drop it in the comments and we will, I'll go with what the first one is. And then everyone will get to join in with it. Who's first? Business. Okay, awesome, Sammy. Thanks, babe. All right. So here's what's also really cool is when you're in alignment with your values, and your values and your goals align as well. They work together. They're in harmony. They're in congruency. They come to you so easily. Your goals come to you so easily. It's so fun. So fun. So if it's hard and a struggle and it feels like you're pushing shit uphill, that could be telling you something. It could be that, there's some work to do on yourself. It doesn't mean you're doing the wrong thing, but there's some things that maybe need to be looked at there. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to elicit your values in business, career, if you don't have a business. So business/career. Hey, Mish. And you're going to have a piece of paper and a pen, and you're going to write them down as I do this with you. Okay, you ready? So in the context of business and or career, okay, what is important to you about business or your career? And then whatever comes, write it down. As many as you can. Just keep writing. Usually it's one word. If it's long sentences, break it down into one word. Chunk it up. In NLP, we say chunk up, which means more big picture. If you want, you could drop them in the chat, or you can just write them down on a piece of paper. And I want you to just keep going, as many things as you can. Why else? Just keep asking yourself, why else? Why else? Well, what else? Not why else, what else? What else is important to me in the context of my business? What else? What else? What else? And then just keep going. Whatever you're getting, you're writing down. And then you'll get to a point when you're kind of like empty and you're like, and you have to think for a little bit. Let me know when you've got that, when you've got to that. That first, Bit of a pause, bit of a hold, bit of a like, you have to think about it. When you get to the first one of that, let me know. Hopefully you guys are actually doing this with me. Otherwise, this could be a little bit weird. I could probably be waiting here forever. So you ask yourself, well, in the context of business or career, what is important to me about my business or about my career? Write down the answers. Keep going. Keep emptying out. Ask yourself, what else? What else? Keep writing. Has anyone got to the first blank where you're like, oh, not sure if I've got any more? Anyone there yet? I'm going to keep going. If you have got there, that's good. Amazing. And if you're not, it's amazing as well. Keep going. And then when you get to the first, cool, Dave, thank you. Success, recognition, money, connection, alignment, fun. Yes, 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 yes. Perfect. Perfect. So then when you get the first, like, got to think about it, then ask again. So in the context of your business or career, what is important to, so you can say it to yourself, but I'm saying it to you. So what else is important to you? And don't think about it. Just let it come through. Just let it come through at the unconscious level. Because remember, values are highly unconscious. And then keep going and write down more, just like you did before. As many as you can, as many as you need to. Could be 2 or 3, could be 10, doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's perfect, exactly how you do it, as long as you do it. Not doing it gives you burpees. Or just gives you the same. No results, same results. Okay, cool. So hopefully you've got some more. And then hopefully you've emptied out again. So you, cool, Sammy, amazing, easy, fun, growth, abundance, healing, helping others heal, freedom, unstructured, unconditional, be inspiring, amazing, amazing. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So having emptied a second time, getting to that second time where you're like, really have to think about it. I think I'm done. Good, Dave. Acceptance, understanding. I'm stuck. Good. Awesome. So you've got another empty. Now ask one more time. In the context of your business or career, what is important to you about your business or career? Stay with me. And then write again, whatever comes. Write out those extra values that come to you. Good, and then share them with me when you've got that last round. Dave and Sammy, I see you two are playing the game with me right now. Everyone else, you got push-up. You got, no, burpees, 100, go on. Hit the floor. So, amazing. What did you guys get? And so then once you've got your list, hopefully you've got them written down like one after the other on a piece of paper as well. That's super handy to have it like that. I have 2 other little methods that I help to extract a few others that are really unconscious. I'm not going to do that here. You have to come train with me to get those 2. It just requires a little bit more, deeper teaching. So To be needed, wanted, recognized, cool. To be a standout, to excel, to lead, awesome, love it. Cool. So in that, to be needed and wanted, the recognized piece, to be a standout, cool, awesome. You also will find maybe there could be some away from within that one, Dave. Just by how it sounds, I don't know exactly. I have to ask you more questions, but I'm curious to see if there could be some away from within that. But anyway, that's not what we're doing right now. That piece of determining if it's towards and away from is also in my trainings. I won't do that today because it will take too long to make a difference. Yes, awesome, good stuff. Dave, I'm glad you've got money in there. That's really important. Okay, here's the next step. The next step is to work out what's the hierarchy of your values. Which one's number 1 and which one's number 10, whatever. So here's what I want you to do is have your list there. Have them listed out. Preference is to have them all one under the other. And then looking at your list really swiftly, not rushing, not slowly, not doing this process consciously, doing it unconsciously, just trusting. You're going to look at the list and then you're going to say at the unconscious level, which one is the number 1, most important? And then you're going to write number 1 next to that. And then look through again, swiftly. Look through, which is number 2 and 2. And you're going to rank them from 1 all the way up. Do that now. Go through the list and rank from 1 up to however many you have. And do it at the unconscious level. Don't think, oh, it should be this, or I have to have it this, or I would like it to be this. It's not about what you would like it to be, what you wish it was, what you hope it was. None of that. It's what it actually is at the unconscious level. And this is where doing it with a coach can be easier and more effective because you get in your own way when you do it on your own. You can do. But anyway, give it a go. And then you'll have a ranking of hierarchy of which are the top 5. So then drop the top 5 in the chat once you've got it. I mean, once you've got the top 5, you could stop or you could keep going. Whatever feels good. Oh no, I lost the chat. Damn it. How did I do that? Oh, I brought it back. Phew. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Nikki. My girls. My queens. Tiana. Yes, away from could be independent or work in a team. Yes, but I don't want you changing it, David, because remember, that's you doing it consciously. It's not about making it perfect or anything. It's just identifying what it is to understand yourself on a much deeper level. And to when you have awareness, then you can actually make changes to things that are perhaps not working to your favor, not working to the best capability, and or supporting you to have sustainability within your business. All right, what do we got here? Lactamon. Growth, happy, make more value to other people. Cute, love it. Kyle's. Sammy, light and playful, creative, alignment, accepting myself and others, love what I do. Yes, good. Amazing. So put your top 5 in there, guys, if you haven't already. Here we go. All right, Dave, value, money, recognition, excel, fun. Juicy. Great. So then what I would do is look at each of those top 5 and look within those values, how much towards and how much is away from. If you have a healthy dose of away from, then that's good. If it's not, then there's some releasing work that needs to get done around that. But those values look really awesome. The recognition one is, potentially an away from. And if you did some releasing work, then you could probably put something else in there that would serve you better, potentially. It would all come down to you. But I would say, how you're going with sales in your business. If I was working with you one-on-one, I would recommend that sales goes in there and we would move things around and get sales in the top 5. So money is different to sales. It's great that money is up there in number 2. That's really awesome. In business, it's important. However, there is a different meaning that we give money and a different meaning that we give sales. It's a little bit sneaky. Excel, fun, yes, amazing. Tiana, yes, beautiful. You will need to understand what the hell's going on right now. What do you get, Sammy? Beautiful, Sammy. Freedom, abundance, and money. Creative, growth, and fun. Awesome. I didn't see that you even had money on your list. I was going to call you out on that one. You've got all the really nice feel-good words, but you might have got it. Yeah. So, creative, growth, fun. Yeah, awesome. So similar to Dave in terms of, sales. I don't know how you're going with sales in your business, but if you're smashing it, amazing. If not, definitely put sale. Create some importance around sales. Really, really important in business. Sales are unapparent at the moment. Yeah. And quite often it's because when we go into business, it is the one main skill we need to learn as a business person, as an entrepreneur, that we haven't developed in the other previous work environment that we had. And a lot of us, we want freedom, we want to make a difference, we want to give value, which you said that you wanted. And we're in this level of thinking is a different level of thinking from a business mindset, a business mentality. Business mentality wants to make a difference, but also knows the importance of sales within the business, and that becomes a priority. And so therefore time, energy, value, making that an importance by studying and reading and practicing and being willing to get enough no's, that has to happen. That commitment has to happen, and the priority of that needs to be in the values, which can be done by choosing it. You can choose it right now in this moment. That has to happen for you to actually create the results that you want in terms of the income that is flowing into your business right now. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, how was that? Was that helpful? Was that fun? So as you can see, we have all of the different areas of life, and we have values within all of those specific areas. And so there's lots of fun to be had with playing around with that and really understanding ourselves, those unconscious motivators and drivers that actually support us to either take the action or not, which also it's really great to understand this about yourself if you were to do this exercise for all of the different contexts of life. If you were to do this, you would have a really deep understanding about yourself, and you could start to do the work with a coach or on your own. It's possible. It takes longer because you don't have those accelerated techniques that help you really fast track through, but anything's possible when you choose it and when you're committed to it. And like anything, everything is all about awareness. And when you have a deeper awareness and a deeper understanding of yourself, you shine the light on that thing, right? And then you go, hey, that is why I've been procrastinating that, or that is why I haven't been doing that thing, because it hasn't been important enough to me. It hasn't been in alignment, and there hasn't been a congruency with myself, my values, and the goals that I'm saying that I want. And so when you can get your core values and all of your values in alignment, and then your goals are in alignment with those things, your goals will just come to you you'll be in the slipstream, and everything will just come to you with ease and flow because you're in alignment and you're totally congruent. Congruency is really sexy, right? Confidence, congruency, knowing, certainty. Another word for congruency is certainty. when you're sold on it, when you're so certain with what you're doing and why you're doing it, and that it's in alignment with you, the most important person here in this place right now is you, then that's really powerful. You're welcome. Love it, Tiana. Not sure if you went and like did the whole exercise or you've just kind of listed up. I don't know. If you have, amazing. You've got money in there. I love that. And you've got sales in there. I love that. Awesome. I am going to wrap it up. This was so much fun. I really appreciate the interaction and being able to walk you through. Sammy, hope you're still there and would love to know your takeaway and what you took away from this for yourself. I honor you. I love you. I respect you. I'm excited for you to be able to understand yourself from on another level from what I've been able to share with you tonight. And like I said, a lot of this, like I haven't done this out in the public like what I've done today. Usually this is just taught with my clients and in my trainings. So I feel like I can't not share it because we all need this. We all need to be more awakened within ourselves and to understand ourselves from a higher perspective so that we can truly embody and believe that we are the creators of our life and we can do anything. And we can do anything and everything we set our minds to. It's just choosing it, it's setting it, it's then just doing whatever it takes. Yeah. You're welcome, Sammy. All right, guys. Have an amazing evening. Tomorrow night is going to be the last one we do, and I'm going to talk about quantum linguistics. I kind of been dropping it in all week going, oh my God, quantum. I haven't yet. I'm going to leave it till tomorrow. I'm going to blow some minds tomorrow with the quantum linguistics. Let's see how we go. All right. Have an amazing night. See you tomorrow. Bye. Thanks for being here.